Hi, my name is Michael Oehley, a New Zealand author, and I'm here to tell you about my book, The 4 Powers of Daren Saner, now out in bookstores, published by Scholastic. Shortly I'll read you a small sample from one of the chapters. But first I'd like to tell you a little bit about what this book is all on about. The 4 Powers of Daren Saner tells the story of Daren Saner, a young 10-year-old boy who lives on the Starship Superia, a spaceship that's been flying away from its home planet for nearly 1,000 years. He's a pretty ordinary kid until one day he stumbles upon a jewel, a strange device that takes him back thousands of years in time to the ancient city of Periapoli on the planet of Oceanus. And it's from there that I would like to start reading a very small sample from chapter 4, where Daren Saner has travelled back in time for the first occasion and has discovered that he has 4 strange elemental powers that make him different on this planet. And a crowd has gathered around to watch, and Daren feels threatened. "Show we your powers," said the scarred boy. "Aye, show we," the gang chorused. "Daren, don't," said my mother from behind me. She looked like she wanted to drag me inside, but Madame Evanora limped into the space between us. "You shouldn't stop the boy," the old crone said. "Your son is coming of age. Let him practice his new gifts on this special day." There was a curious gleam in Madame Evanora's eyes, a sort of wild look about her. She gawked at me as though I were a precious secret. I shivered, even though Solus was glowing hot overhead. Madame Evanora stuck her nose into other people's business and was a terrible gossip. I'd always been afraid of the creepy old woman, but the urchins were pressing around me, eager to see my powers again. I couldn't help wanting to show off, even though I had a strange feeling in my gut about the way that Madame Evanora was staring at me. Ignoring my mother's pleas, I opened my palms and tried to repeat my powers. Nothing happened. "You see, me told the lot of ye it weren't possible." "Nah, he did them powers, me saw them." "Me did too." "Then where did they go, eh?" My audience was growing restless. I squeezed my eyes shut and tried to ignore the quarrelling urchins. With even less warning than before, wind blasted from one hand, fire lashed into the air from the other, the platform trembled underfoot, and water spurted from my other foot. The urchins were flattened, and their raggedy clothes were soaked again. A crowd of adult peasants had gathered around. Their diseased and scarred faces were mostly hidden under dark hoods, giving them a frightening appearance. Madame Evanora's eyes were nearly popping out of her head, while my mother just looked nervous. "You have got them 4 powers," said an excited urchin. "What be his caste then? He's got air. Is he a prince?" "Nah, he got earth and water and fire also. We don't know why he got all 4 powers, eh?" "I know," said Madame Evanora. She hobbled into the middle of the crowd. Her eyes were wide and her voice was hysterical. She raised a crooked finger at me and screamed, "Disease, death, and destruction have come to Periapoli. This monster is the forbidden child from the legends, he of the 4 powers, he of the 4 bloodlines, he who brings doom and disaster. The forbidden child, he is the forbidden child." Time stopped in its tracks. My heart started thumping in my chest, my skin went clammy and I couldn't breathe. Blind fear washed over me, because I had heard plenty of legends about the forbidden child while growing up, and none of them were good. The forbidden child was said to be an evil creature that came once every 1,000 years, bringing terror to the world. If the crowd believed Madame Evanora, then I was in serious danger of being attacked. I searched my mother's face for help. Her eyes had somehow sunk deeper into her pale face than usual. "Daren, run," she cried. "Go find your father. He's the forbidden child is alone and we are many," shrieked Madame Evanora. Her ear-splitting scream drowned out my mother's voice. "Destroy him now, before his powers grow any stronger. Kill the forbidden child." "Who's my father?" I called out to my mother. "Just run." And if you want to know what happens next, you'll have to read The 4 Powers of Daren Saner. You can also check out my website, michaelohehley.com, for more fun activities. And it's been my pleasure to read to you on booktv.co.nz. Thank you.